Welcome to Scottish Couple in Spain. My name is Barry, and this is Adrian. Adrian, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Adrian. I'm with Sunny Spain. I'm a property broker, and on not only broker, but I buy properties for myself in Spain. So you could say that I put my money where my mouth is,
Yes.
and I help people, Brits, Americans, from North America, from South America, anybody that
Yeah.
actually wants to buy property in Spain. I help them with all this process from start to
Okay.
finish.
Okay. So, when did you first buy your first property in Spain?
It was in 2015.
Okay. Yeah.
2015. The prices were a little bit lower at that time.
Yeah, I could
in
imagine.
Yeah, in all this time, uh, Spain is experiencing a boom in kind of like the one that you were mentioning in your video, the one that I
Yeah.
saw. They experiencing a boom in property buying, foreigners buying property in
Yes.
Spain, most specifically because unfortunately, many people in Spain uh, cannot afford to get
Yeah.
on the property ladder. So that's I think that's where the boom comes from. Um, so yeah, I mean, 2015, and then a few years later, I bought my second one, and then the third one, and hopefully, it's gonna snowball to a point
Okay.
where I have a comfortable. I don't want to be big Black Rock or any of these guys,
Yeah.
but I want to be comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. So, I sent you over some questions.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's questions that will resonate with a lot of the viewers and people because I mean, it's amazing how many people from around the world watch this channel, from South America to Australia to North America and then all over Europe. So the first one, what is there any new rules for buying property in Spain?
No, I so when I saw that question, I thought you might be talking about the new housing act that has been that came into regulation this year, 2023, and that doesn't have much to do, at least actually nothing to do with buying property, uh,
Okay.
either if you're resident or non-resident. Doesn't have nothing to do with buying property. That's more trying to help or to stop the rent problem in Spain, because you have
Yeah.
many, especially young people and
Yeah.
people on the lower
Yeah.
budgets,
We've
if you
seen it.
want.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
seen it here down in Torrevieja. I mean, the prices have almost doubled in the
yeah.
space of 3 years.
I mean,
It's
I know
crazy.
that from a landlord perspective.
Yeah.
Um, so I know I have most of my properties are on Airbnb because I don't want to
Okay.
deal with long term. Sometimes it's,
Yeah.
although it's more comfortable because you don't have to go and clean the property every week or every
Yeah.
2 weeks. You don't have all this work to do, but um, it's a different market. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's prices went up badly, and part of the problem is this new regulation that they came up with, which is a very bad law. It's just one of the most, I'm not going to use bad words here, but it's one of the
Yeah.
worst things that they could come up with, because basically with this law they wanted to put a cap. Actually, they put a cap on how much you can raise your rent, and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
many other things. But unfortunately, what these actually end up doing, and they tried this in Paris, they tried this in Berlin as well, in many
Yeah.
other cities, and it's an awful idea, because those people who have property in Spain, if you don't have any incentive for them to put the properties on the market, they're not gonna do it. And if they're gonna end up putting the property on the market, they're gonna be very, very selective with who they're gonna rent to. And
Yeah.
that, I mean, in my case as well, I have now one of the properties. Someone just left the property yesterday, and I'm very selective I want
Yeah.
someone that has, that can prove me. They work, they have a good income and all that good stuff. And again, the people who are most um, affected by this law are, again, the young people who do not have a
Yeah.
history, who don't have a good job, who doesn't, can provide you with good income statements.
Yeah.
But this law doesn't have nothing to do with the fact that if you want to buy a property in Spain, you can buy property in Spain, no problem.
Okay. So going down the Airbnb route is that just for the holiday market that you're tending to, or do you do
Say again,
long-term
please.
rentals? And is it just holiday people on holiday that you deal with?
uh it depends. So I have two properties. All my properties are, I have the, what do you call this, the license, right? You have the
Yeah,
the, the license that,
tourism.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can do both. I can put it on long term, I can put it on short term. It depends on the market. Like, because of this law now, for example, I can say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this trouble. I'm just gonna put it for tourists for summertime, and
Yeah.
that's it. So I've done both types of renting the property. It's much more headache for you to rent it as for holidays, for
Yeah.
tourists. It's much more work, but also you can make
Yeah.
more money if you
They can
really
make more
really
money.
want to sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So some people might be asking, can you buy? I mean, a lot of people might know the answer to this question, but can I buy a property in Spain as a non-resident?
Definitely. Spain, it
Yeah.
really, really invites everybody to come and buy property. So maybe again, coming back to the
Yeah.
boom, I think that's one of the reasons. Everybody's
Okay.
welcome as long as
Yeah.
you have the money, you have the
As
conditions.
long as you have the money. Yes,
Yes,
that's it. That's
money
Spain
talks.
all
Money
over.
talks.
Money talks in Spain. It does that. So how much tax would you pay on buying a property in Spain?
This comes down to a few different things. So first, it depends on whether you buy new property or
Okay.
if you buy, resale property, used property. On new build properties, you pay IVA or VAT,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is 10%, mostly in whole Spain, with the exception of the Canary Islands, where they don't have
Okay.
this VAT. They have something
Ah,
called,
that's interesting.
yeah, they have something called IGIC or
Okay.
IGIC,
Yeah.
which stands for Impuesto General Indirecto Canario. Um, they have a different name, but it's just a tax,
Yes. Another tax. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different tax. It's just a different name for it, but it's 6.5%. So it's a
Okay.
little bit cheaper to
So,
buy there.
so what is the best region in Spain tax-wise to buy a property?
If you want, let me finish with tax.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah.
few more details there.
Yeah.
For people watching your channel.
Yeah.
Um, there's By the way, if I forget anything, if the
Yeah.
questions are not are not answered completely, feel free, guys, to leave a comment, and I'll check the video and answer for you.
Yeah.
So going back to the tax, you also have to pay AJD, which is Actos Jurídicos Documentados. It's called stamp duty, if you want to,
Yeah.
in the UK, which is between 0.5 to 1.5%, depending on the autonomous community. So
Yeah.
it's not that much, but it's still another tax that you need to pay. And second, so that's if you buy new property. If you buy second
Okay.
hand
Yeah.
property or resale, you don't pay VAT. You pay something called ITP, which is property transfer tax, if you want.
Okay. Yeah.
And this also varies from community to community. If, as you know, and maybe your viewers as well, Spain is divided in autonomous communities, and
Yes.
each one has the power to do whatever they want. So
Yeah.
basically, they can charge between 6 and 10%. In Valencia, for example, is 10%. Catalonia is 10%. If I'm not mistaken, Andalusia, it's 7 or 8. I'm not 100% sure right now. But yeah, those are the different um, type of taxes you have to think about when you buy
You have to
property.
think
And
about.
also,
Yeah.
when you buy secondhand property, you don't have to pay this stamp duty tax, the
Oh,
AJD.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
So
they
that's one
used to
tax.
buy
One.
before 2019. You used to they used to charge you this, especially if you have a mortgage. They used to charge you this AGD, but there was a new law in 2019. The new ley de hipotecaria, a new mortgage law in 2019, and scrapped this tax. And now the bank has to pay it for you.
Oh, that's good. The
Yes,
banks have to pay something.
yes, at least something. At least it's something.
Yeah, that is something. Um, so what kind of deposit, if people are looking to buy in Spain, what type of deposit would you need to buy a property in Spain?
So this one as well depends on a few different things. Um, if you end up going to Spain and you're gonna be resident in Spain,
Yeah.
then you have the benefit of a bank financing you 80-90% of of the property value.
Okay.
But if you're a non-resident like myself and like many of my clients, then it will depend as well on the purpose or the intention of buying this property in Spain, and also as well your financial situation. So let me quickly explain a little bit. If you buy property, for example, as a second residency, like I have
Yeah.
clients here in the UK, they live in London, they live in Manchester and other cities. Um, so that would be your second residency, because your first residency it's in the UK.
Yeah.
So in that case, the bank will, um, more often I can get mortgages for my clients with 70% finance. So you'll have to have 30%.
Yeah.
If it's for investment, then the bank is going to look a little bit with a little bit more risk at the operation, and they say, okay, it's an investment. They still gonna be open to, if you have the right numbers. If you show them, they all care about money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you show them the right numbers, they're gonna play with you, and they can offer you 50, 60, or 70% finance. Again, this is for investment, especially if you
Yeah.
invest, it's 50, 60% finance.
Okay. That's interesting. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah, and
Um,
also, by the way, Barry, I
yeah.
forgot that this also depends on whether you are employed or self-employed,
Okay.
because maybe you forgot. I mean, you left what, UK in 2020, I think it was, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was 2020.
Yes, and um it's the same thing in the UK. If you go to the bank and
Yeah.
then tell them you're self-employed, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, but I
Yeah.
did this and I did that," and they ask you loads of things. It's possible in Spain as well. If you are self-employed in the UK or anywhere else, um, it's possible. I got many clients. I got them a mortgage being self-employed, but they're gonna ask you more things,
Yeah.
more like tax returns for the last 2-3 years,
Yeah.
credit score reports for yourself and for your company if you have a company, and many other details like this. It's not impossible, but we have to sweat it a little bit.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's good to know. It's good to know for the future.
Definitely.
Um, so ultimately, is Spanish property a good investment as far as you're concerned?
It's definitely, I mean, in my opinion and experience, buying property in Spain is definitely a good investment. And like I said earlier at the beginning, I put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
And since I buy the properties myself as well in Spain, I'm invested in the market. So Spain will always be a must-go destination for probably everybody in the world. If you have a bucket list, Spain, it's in that bucket list. So you can do, if you're thinking to buy a property in Spain just for investment or as a home holiday, whatever, it's definitely a good place to buy, because you have different options. You can, like,
Yeah.
I have clients from Holland, sorry, Netherlands, that what they want to do in other parts of the world as well. What they want to do is buy a property to have an escape where they could go.
Yeah.
Like now, like we said at the beginning, it's
Yeah. So the
miserable here
weather.
in London.
Yeah.
It's already
You,
nighttime here.
yeah.
And they have a
Yeah.
space,
You,
they have a place where they can escape. But
yeah.
as well, in the meantime, they can rent it out for a week or two to someone else. So when you come to Spain to enjoy your holidays, you have some money, from those few weeks, few months
Yeah.
that you rented the property out.
Okay. Now the big question, the big B, the big B. Have you seen a difference in the market after Brexit?
There is definitely a difference that I there is a clear one. There's a clear one
Okay.
before and after, and that is that many Brits, or some Brits, if you want, stopped buying properties as much as before,
Okay. Yeah.
thanks to the rights that they've lost by leaving
Yeah.
the EU.
By leaving. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is what it is. So one of those rights being that they cannot stay in Spain more than 3 months.
Yeah.
The infamous 90 days rule.
92. Yeah.
Yeah. And because of this, many Brits were thinking to retire in Spain. Now they cannot, it's not viable anymore for many of them. Uh,
Okay.
this doesn't affect that much Brits wanting to buy holiday homes in order to just enjoy Spain, sunny weather.
Yeah.
Since 90 days, every 180 days is a lot of holidays for
Yeah.
most people.
Yes.
Yeah, considering that a working class person gets only 20 or 30
Yeah.
days per
Yeah.
year.
Four weeks holiday per year.
Exactly. So the most affected group was the people wanting to live or to retire in Spain.
Okay. Yeah.
Before sorry, after Brexit, you can still manage to do this by getting a non-lucrative visa,
Yeah.
but it has some requirements, and again, it's not for everybody's pocket. It's not that expensive, but it's definitely something you need to plan in advance. And unfortunately, for those who had maybe 5 to 7 years before retiring, and this news came out that okay, UK out of the EU, they didn't have enough time to plan, to put money aside and to
Yeah.
think about how to do it.
Okay.
But other than that, people still buy property in Spain because of this. They just want to have a place to go
Yeah.
when it's sunny, or here it's cold and there is sunny, to recharge your batteries, and and even for investors, it didn't change anything for those for these
Yeah.
last two people, or type
Okay.
of people, if you want.
Okay. So do you sell properties as well for people?
I do not have properties to sell myself, so I'm not
Okay.
a real estate
And
agent.
that's it. Okay. You're just a
We can
broker.
talk about how I do it if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
There's a couple of more questions.
definitely.
Um, well, you've just covered that one. So, in your opinion, what is the best options for people looking to retire in Spain? And we do get a lot of people from the UK, but we get people from all around Europe watching these videos. So,
Definitely.
what are the options for them?
I mean, if you're still in the EU, then happy days. Happy
Yeah,
days, because
yeah,
you can go and you can still do the same thing as Brits could do a few years back. You can buy property, you can stay there you can go to France, and then if you want to stay in France 1 week, you can go to Spain another 2 weeks, and then
yeah,
travel to Romania or whatever, any other country in the EU, and you have no problems. um, and that's the same thing for people who wants to retire in Spain. If you're from other parts of the world, um, Americans as well, I have clients from America, both South and North America, and they are under the same rules, if you want, as um,
people from
Brits
United
now.
Kingdom. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
okay,
So
yeah,
it's the same rules for you guys. If you're from Brazil, I have many people in Brazil, because of the politics they have.
Yeah.
People with good money, they want to get their money out of Brazil and put it, safe in another um, good or better country, if you want, in terms of
Yeah.
economics and politics. So it's the same thing. You can buy property, but you cannot live in Spain unless you have some type of visa.
Okay, looking at the property market, do you see? I mean, there's a lot of people thinking there might be a property crash in Spain. Do you think there'll be a property crash, or do you think that prices will sort of stay level this year?
I don't think it's. I mean, there's a lot of talk about it. Definitely. I mean, when you look at the Euribor, I don't know if you are familiar with it because you
Yeah.
live there, but many people, it's just an indicator that banks use in order to set the rates for the
Yes.
mortgages
Yeah.
and other things. So you had Spain for the last at least decade, for at least 10 years. They had very very low interest rates. Sometimes it was
Yeah.
negative, and then all of the sudden you have this spike in the Euribor. It's at historic levels again. This happened in before the 2008 crash. The
Yeah.
Euribor went to, I think, 5% or something like that. It almost got again to 5%, but now it's slowly creeping down. So um I don't, I mean, it depends who you talk to. You have some
Yeah.
people who are very negative, some people are very
I
positive.
feel very positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the
Well,
positive side, and
yes.
saying that even though this you have these interest rates that Spanish people say it's high because it's high for them, being
Yeah.
accustomed to a decade of very 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 low
Very
interest
low.
rates.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, "Oh, now it's high. It's, it's the hell on earth,
Yeah.
on earth and everything." But if you take these interest rates, and that's why I believe many people from outside buy property in Spain. It's something normal for us here in the UK to have four
Yeah.
percent or 3, 4, 5% interest on a mortgage. Uh, People from Netherlands, I mean, they never say, "Oh, this is too much," whatever, because that's kind of the normal,
Yeah.
in other
Although it's not,
parts of the
it,
world.
it has been low over the last 10 years back home in the UK also, and I think it's just now that it's kind of have had a little increase. So
Yeah.
tell me a bit more about what you do in your business and what you can offer people that are looking to buy property in Spain, that are looking to move to Spain, and things like that.
So first of all, I want to say that I'm a broker. I'm
Yeah.
not an estate agent because I have
Yep. And
people.
that's sorry for
Yeah.
butting in. That's
Yes,
one
go
of the
on.
reasons that I wanted to speak to you because it's okay speaking to an estate agent, but it's speaking to a property agent. They always have the one agenda, and I thought
Yes.
it was good to have a chat with yourself because being a property broker, you don't need to. You're not stuck with one letting agent or an estate agent. And so you get a better feel for the market.
That's actually one of the points that I always make when I say this, and I'm glad that you see it this way as well, because being a broker, um, it's important because I'm not going to try to sell you my merchandise,
Yes.
my
Yes.
product, which which is kind of normal. If you go to a state agent, they want to
Yeah.
sell you their properties, you
Yes,
know,
they do.
which again makes sense. I want to sell you my fish, not my competition's fish. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, these agencies, they have what they call collaborations. Some
Yeah.
of them, or most of them. So let's see, I have an agency and Barry has another agency. We can collaborate between us. But first, if you come to me on my store or my real estate agency, I'm
Yeah.
gonna show you my properties first. Even though Barry might have something that's better for you, I'm gonna try to sell you first my properties.
Yeah.
So being a broker, I don't care which agencies we go to. You gonna set we're gonna talk about the properties that you want to see, you want to buy, the budget, the location. You tell me all these things, and then we're gonna pick 5, 10, 15 properties that you want to see, and then we're gonna go and see them. That's one of the best things of my service, that I'm not married to anybody. So
Yeah.
if you want a property that you want to buy, we go and check it. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, don't. I've I, I've been in this for some time, and you have some state agents, especially if you want to buy a property that they don't want to sell. They're gonna say, no, 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 that area is not good. Don't go there. Blah blah blah. You know. So
Yeah.
that's one of the first distinctions. I'm a broker. I'm not a real estate agent, so I don't have properties to sell. We choose properties together, and then I can help you with buying it. Also, I make sure you have all the documents ready before we start looking into buying properties, because this is very
Yeah.
important, especially if you want to get a mortgage. Because what happens is, many people come to buy a property without having any knowledge about the steps previous that you need to do, which
Mm.
is making sure that before you sign any reservation contract, before you give any single penny to anybody in Spain, you need to make sure that you have the right documents and that the bank will approve you a mortgage, a finance. Otherwise, you're gonna lose your reservation money, your whatever you give to the real estate
Yeah.
agent. So another important, very important thing with me is that I if you want a mortgage, get in touch with me, and I'm gonna do a study, a mortgage study for you with the banks. I work with the banks. It's not just out of my head. I work with Sabadell, with Ibercaja. I work with all the banks, and I have the directors that I have contact directly with them, and I say, "Hey, Vicente, look, I have Barry. He wants to buy a property. Check the documents for me and give me some figures. How much he can
Yeah.
borrow, if he can borrow, and other details." So, and I do that for free. I don't charge anything, because this is another important thing. I don't charge anything before I make sure I can help you. If I cannot help you, then I
Yeah.
don't want to, I don't want your money, basically.
Okay, that's interesting. So talking about the whole of Spain, what would be the best region to buy a property in Spain just now? What is the sort of up and coming region in Spain for buying cheap property, be it a finca or an apartment or a villa?
um I like from Valencia down.
Okay.
So Valencia, Alicante. Alicante, it's both
Yeah.
Valencia and Alicante. They're expensive,
Yeah.
but still they're way cheaper than upper north, like Barcelona
Okay.
and
Yeah.
other parts. And also when you go down, you have Almeria, Murcia, all the coast is cheaper than, for example, Malaga,
Yeah.
which I love. Actually, last week we were in Ronda
Okay. Yeah.
for a client who wants to buy in Ronda. I mean, it's a very touristic city, but it's not bad. The prices in Ronda, they're not bad, but you don't have the coast, so you don't have a
Yeah.
beach. You have to take the train, and takes a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I like to buy in Valencia and Murcia and Almeria. They're very good places to buy. You are not going to have, for example, in Almeria, in Murcia, you're not going to have all these Shazam or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
All these bam 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 from bigger cities like Malaga,
Yeah.
where you have
Yeah.
all these different cultures and everybody coming together. There's always
Yeah.
something going on. Um, so it's that's beautiful about Malaga and Valencia and the bigger cities, but on the coast of Murcia, it's definitely a good option to buy because they're really cheap. I mean, compared to the prices that we have here in the UK,
Yeah.
it's really cheap. I
Yes.
have so one of my clients, we're gonna go in December in Roquetas de Mar, um, and you can buy a property in front of the beach, or at least you have sea views with
Okay.
120, 100,000, and of course, the more money you have, the better, But 100,000 pounds, sorry, 100,000 euros, 150,000 euros is not that much for a sea view property.
Yeah.
And
So,
also I have we're gonna go in January from with a client from London in Los Alcázares
oh yeah,
in
yeah,
Mar
I know
Menor.
that well. Yeah, yeah,
People love that area as
yes,
well. You have
yeah,
golf resorts. The
yeah,
sea is always warm and perfect for the kids.
yeah,
um and it's cheap. It's extremely cheap there as well. you know
yeah,
it's beautiful. I mean, those are if you want, for example, to move to Spain. I have other type of clients that they want to move to Spain because they want to start a new life.
yeah,
So what I recommend to them is, instead of buying properties on the coast, which is always much more expensive,
yes,
going land, going cities inside, Castilla-La Mancha, maybe up on, in País Vasco and Galicia. uh, it's much cheaper, and they go there, they start their life. I have a client, for example, who come from the USA, and he wants his daughter to study in Alicante. But
okay, yeah,
for you to move to Spain and start a new life with a language you don't know, a culture that you might know a little bit from, from hearing about it, but it takes a little bit of time for you to actually integrate in the culture, to
yes,
start to make money, to have a
yes,
job. You know it very well.
yes,
You know
yes.
it very well.
It's yeah, yeah. So if there was 5 tips that you would give anyone that was thinking about moving to Spain or buying a property in Spain, what would they be?
So I don't have that many tips, but I have very
Yeah.
important ones. First of all,
Okay.
make sure that you can. And I didn't tell you this before, but you probably already know. For you to buy a property in Spain, you don't need a lawyer. You can do
Yeah.
everything by yourself. It's not required.
Yes. Yeah.
So because of this, many people they try to do it by themselves, which is great. If you know what you're doing, go
Yeah.
ahead. You're gonna save some money there. But on the other hand, if you're going to choose a real estate agent, a broker, a lawyer, or whatever you choose, make sure you choose properly. Make sure you have a contact with them. Don't just sign any paperwork before you actually talk to these people, and make sure they inspire your confidence.
Yeah.
Because there's I'm sorry to say this, I don't want to scare anybody, but there's many people out there that they just want your money,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
know
I've
Brits.
heard a lot of stories about this.
Yes, and listen, Barry, Brits have a history of having good money,
Yeah.
and all these people they're gonna know, and they're gonna look for Brits to scam. And talking about this, one of other things, if you want. So the first tip would be, make sure the people that you're gonna deal with are trustworthy. They know what they're doing, and they they they're transparent with you. They answer all your questions. They you don't s- Some people, they try to beat the bush and all that. If they're not straightforward with you, then something is going on.
Yeah.
And a second tip would be, but this will be more advanced if you want, when you when you are already into the process of buying the property. Make sure your real estate agent, or not the real estate agent, because what I've discovered lately is that some of them, they really don't know the legal parts of buying a property. They only know how to sell you the property. Have you seen that cherry tree over there in the backyard that reminds you of your dad? Yeah, that's awesome. And that's it. You sold. You buy the property.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you have some really, really troubling things that can happen if they don't know the legal parts of a property. So one of the things I do is, when we go and have property viewings, then let's say you decide for a property, then we make a reservation. That's kind of the process. That reservation contract is going to be for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. That period will allow me to ask for the nota simple, which is a document that will show everything that has to do with the property, who is the owner, if the data correlates with what the real estate agent is showing us,
Yeah.
and many other things that you need to look for. For example, there's something called usufruto. It's an English it's an English term as well. I mean, people, lawyers use it as well. Usufruto is basically you buy a property, but that property is usufruto of someone else, which basically
Okay.
means that uh, I buy that property, but I cannot use it because
Mhm.
someone is going to live in that property, and until they die, I cannot use the property.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know, there are other things, like for example, you have several owners. So I have an issue, not an issue, but it's not my issue, but it's the property, the real estate agent issue. I have now a client who wants to buy a property, but on the nota simple you have the lady. So the you have
yeah.
how do you call this, matrimony, right? You have
Yeah.
husband and
Yeah.
wife.
Yes. Yes.
So when they bought the property, they were together, but now the
Okay.
lady,
But now they're separate.
they're separate. So they are
Yeah.
they have a divorce and blah blah
Divorced.
blah,
Yeah.
whatever, no problem. But now I need to see if that property, if sorry, if that, yes, if that property, they call el régimen de matrimonio. It's called. It's
See.
um, I forgot the name right now in English. It's basically the contract that you have when you get married.
Yeah.
You can either have separations of goods
Yeah.
or um, combination of goods. I really
Yeah.
forgot the
Yeah.
terminology right now. So basically, I need to know if that lady, when they got married and bought the property, if which type of contract they had, matrimonial contract. Because the agent said, no, 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 it's okay. I talked already to the lady. She has a divorce uh, document, blah blah blah. And I said, okay, that's fine, but I do not care until you tell me if they had separations of goods or not. Because if
Yeah.
they didn't have separation of goods, this lady now is gonna come. I'm gonna pay you the property, and let's say 2 years from now, the husband shows up out of nowhere and say, "Hey, what's going on here? This property, half of the property is mine because when we got
Yeah.
married, we bought it together. So now they're gonna sue my client because they want half of the property, and it's gonna be a mess." And this is what I'm telling everybody,
Yeah.
to make sure that the person that you're dealing with, they know what they're doing. And I think there are no other big tips. If you want to buy a property in Spain, go to the place where you want to buy. This is actually what we did, Barry. When first property we bought in 2015, uh, we asked in Facebook groups, Spanish people, hey guys, what is the
Okay.
best Spain? What are some of the best beaches in Spain? Blah blah blah, and they came up with Cullera, Gandia, all of it in the Valencian coast. So what we end up doing, we rent a car, and we went from Valencia all the coast. We drove every single day to a location, and we say, okay, so clean beach, nice people, restaurants, airport close, blah blah blah. So you need to think about all these details when you want to buy. And the best thing is to actually take a flight, go to the location that you want to buy, and get a feeling of it. Because people say, "Oh, Cullera, go to Cullera, it's amazing." Personally, I didn't like it, so we
Okay.
went up buying somewhere
Yeah.
else. So it's a personal choice as well. You might like it, you might not like it, but the best thing to do is to actually travel there and get a feeling of the place.
Another place first. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. That's
Yeah,
brilliant. I think that's all the questions that we had. Yeah, it is. That's us went through all the questions. So thank you very much for that. And
definitely.
if people want to get in touch with you, what's the company name?
Oh, it's called Sunny Spain Property Investors. You can just Google it. You're gonna find me on
Yeah, I'll
LinkedIn.
put a link in the
Oh
description
yes,
of this video.
that's
I'll put a
brilliant.
link
Thank
in
you.
the
I'll do that.
description
I'll
of this
send you the
video.
links, Barry. So
Yeah,
you can find me on LinkedIn. Next year, I'm gonna start working on the YouTube channel as well, because it's not enough time. Traveling up
yeah,
and down between UK and Spain doesn't allow me to make videos. But I promise in 2024 to make some videos about everything that has to do with buying the property. If you have questions about it, you know, let us know in the comments, and I'll take those questions you guys have and make a video about it.
and make a video about it. That would be absolutely brilliant. That would be great. That would be
100%,
fantastic.
100% at your disposition, at your
Yeah,
service.
okay. Yes. Okay. Right. We'll wind the video up for the audience. My dog Ginny has just walked into the room. So thanks to everyone for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego, amigo.